Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Kevin. I'm out here with my girlfriend Jillian. We're in Georgia visiting my parents, and this is a site I've wanted to camp at for probably about 15 years, and you're gonna see why here in just a second. This river right behind me is just beautiful. There's a lot of rocks and rapids to play on. Very good for swimming. As you can see, we got Goose with us, so he's enjoying the sand and playing in the water. But over here is a little trail that goes across, and I've driven my Jeep Rubicon through there probably 5 or 6 times many years ago when I still had that thing. But like I said, I've been here many times with my parents, just enjoying the water, cooling off on a nice summer day while we were up here building the cabin and stuff. But I've never actually camped right here. I've always wanted to camp on this little sandy, little beachy area. So today, Jillian and I are making that dream come true. We really lucked out with this spot. We have it all to ourselves. We have a little fire pit over here. We have tons of firewood that we found. So we're gonna have a nice fire all night long. Should be really good for stargazing tonight as long as these clouds go away. It was raining a little bit earlier, but I think we might avoid some of the storms until later this evening, so we should be able to cook under our awning. And many years ago, my buddy Josh and I and my parents, we walked all through the river and walked on those rocks. We went as far up as we could. So as it is really relaxing here, we kind of have to hurry up because there's some thunder and a storm coming. So I want to get this fire going since we have a lot of firewood. I want to get some hot coals and maybe it'll outlast the rainstorm that's coming. So I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use a lighter and a log starter today. While Goose is mining for gold, there's a light rain and I got some sweet potatoes to cook on the fire. And before heavier rain comes and while the coals are still hot, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap those in tin foil and go ahead and set them on the coals. It's about 8:40 in the evening, and as you can see, the rain's starting to come down a little more today. And this is where a really large awning comes in handy. This is the OVS 270 degree. So it goes all the way from the back door of the camper and it goes all the way to the side towards the front, towards the 4Runner. So it's 270 degrees, plenty of room. We have our little carpet out. We have a couple chairs and we're all totally dry right now. Time to check the potatoes. This has to be one of the hottest fires I've had in a long time, which is funny. The last 2 nights, it did not rain, but we got to camp late after it rained, so we couldn't really start a fire. And now we have a raging fire, and it's raining, so it's just how it goes sometimes, but we're not complaining because we are listening to all the water coming over those rocks right now, and it's very soothing and pretty. Goose is the first person to bed in the camper, getting all nice and warm for us. The rain has pretty much stopped, just a little drizzle. You can hear those awesome falls over there coming off the rocks. Fire's still going, and I think it's time to pull the potatoes off. They've been on there for about an hour. about 8:30 in the morning. The temperature was supposed to get down to 60 degrees last night. It's definitely not 60 degrees now, although it is in the 60s. It feels wonderful outside for being July. And Goose is ready for breakfast. The awnings survived the rain last night. I had to dump a little bit of rain out this morning, but we're gonna let it dry off in the sun before we put it up. This morning for breakfast, we're actually having last night's dinner since we got rained out. So we're having sausage and cut up squash on the stove. And we've already had 2 visitors. We had a trout swim up, and then we had another crayfish come back. Right now I'm standing on the really shallow part where I crossed with my Jeep a long time ago. Basically, I just came right down through there. It's not that deep, and there's this ridge of rocks. And as you can see, it's not deep. It's probably maybe 12 inches in like the deepest section, but it goes all the way across. And right over there is where you come out of the river at. As you can see, there's some fresh tire tracks, and basically you're just gonna come get on these rocks, ride the rocks all the way across. I'm so glad Jillian and I got that campsite to ourselves. I wanted to camp there for at least 15 years, ever since the first time I'd been there with the Jeep. And we made it to my parents'. Really rainy night. We stayed really dry in the runaway camper. We really loved that thing. The awning did great. Gave us enough dry area outside we could enjoy the rain and without getting totally soaked or wet. It wasn't until about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, so people started showing up to enjoy the nice sandy beachy area there to go swimming. So when they started showing up, we started packing up. We headed back into town, and now we're at my parents'. So thanks for following along. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing.